Oh, hello there. I didn't see you. Well, since you decided to eavesdrop, why don't you come on in? Joshua,
Yes.
what do you wear to an interview?
What do I wear to an interview?
Because I've only been fired. So
You got to get hired before you can get fired.
exactly.
Yeah. It really depends on the role. But the focus of this channel is the corporate world and, trying to get into the corporate boardroom. So we're going to be talking about more advanced roles, higher paying roles, and what you should wear to those kind of interviews. I have been conducting a lot of interviews, interviewing people recently, and I have to say the attire that people have worn to those interviews has varied quite a bit. I have had someone show up in a t-shirt for a role that pays six figures. And me personally, I don't think that that's a professional appearance to come into an interview wearing a t-shirt. I think that you should try to dress one level above the role you're applying for. That should at least be a nice dress shirt, dress slacks, oftentimes a jacket, depending on the level of role, potentially a tie and a suit. And let's start talking about suits, actually, because a lot of people don't own a suit and they're trying to get into the corporate world for the first time. And you have that important interview and you want to make sure you look good. And you can never look bad wearing a well-fitted suit. So speaking of suits, a lot of people here are going to be looking at buying their first suit, trying to look the part for that higher level role. And fit is important for looking good. Because if you have a suit that doesn't fit well, you'll look sloppy, and that could be just as bad as not wearing a suit. How do you know if a suit fits you well?
Suit fits you well. There's a lot of argument online about this, and hundreds of YouTube channels will go over this specific. The first thing that I say, collar, collar, collar. Collar gap. You want to make sure you do not have a gap in your collar between the shirt and the actual collar of the jacket. And you want to make sure that if you sit down, the jacket isn't raising up. And this is something, if you were buying a jacket off the peg and you were to go somewhere like a Nordstrom's, you wouldn't probably even think about, or the alterations tailor would even consider having you sit down. But if you would just take just that second in the alterations tailor little area and sit down and see what happens with the jacket, see how it looks, because you're going to be working in an office or in a boardroom or in a corporate situation. You're going to be sitting a lot. That would be the first thing. Make sure your shoulder isn't bunching up. Make sure that your shoulders, that the muscle or the ends of your shoulders are not sticking out past the material. And if it is just a touch because you're a very well-built man, that can also be slightly intriguing, but you do not want your suit to look too tight. But the worst offense is the baggy suit. You do not want to wear a baggy suit. And that's where you get into the problems. And I have to say, as much as it hurts me, a lot of North American men they are a product of the baggy suit. You don't want these overly superhero slim fit sort of suits. Those look silly. Those are for kids and teenagers, and a lot of them can't even really get away with it. But you want to go with something that has a little more structure and authority to it.
Yeah.
And a mid width lapel, not a skinny lapel.
This is the lapel, right?
This is a lapel, yes.
Is this a skinny lapel?
No. That's it's mid. It could. Don't ask me about lapels. I can go on about it for 2 hours. I like a wide lapel, not a massive lapel, but a wide lapel. And I like a peak lapel. But this is not what you would want for your first suit. You would want a mid with lapel. Preferably notch lapel. These are peak lapels. I love the peak lapels, but that's something that you would graduate to when you were moving up the sartorial ladder, as it were. Yes.
Yeah. So about fit though, how do you know if the sleeves are like the right length?
Well, generally, the sales associate a lot of the times will not know. So never ever, please try on a jacket, or whether it's an odd jacket or a suit jacket, without a dress shirt underneath it. Now, it's personal preference whether you want a 1/4 inch, a half inch of cuff showing. I prefer a little bit more because it's just a little more, I find it to be a little bit more elegant. Whether it is or not, it's all personal perspective. But a lot of the times these chaps will go in and they'll be wearing a t-shirt or a polo and they'll try on a jacket. It goes more like the Men's Warehouse. Oh my God. And
Yeah.
it looks good to me, but no, it does not. You need to make sure you have a dress shirt on underneath it.
Yeah.
It's so important, yes.
And your tailor can help shorten the sleeve if it's too long, but there's some things that they can't do. Like if your suit is way too small, if it's a little bit small, the tailor can sometimes take it out in certain places.
Yeah.
If it's a little bit too big, the tailor can oftentimes bring it in. You can always shorten sleeves. So if you have shorter arms, it's pretty easy to get sleeves shortened.
But the
there is a
shoulders are
limit.
done.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, there's a limit to what your tailor can do. I'd say it's usually better if you can't find an exact fit to go slightly larger than slightly smaller.
Oh yes, yes, oh yes.
Because then your tailor can, it's usually easier to take things down a little bit, but you have to start somewhere close because if you're too far away, there's nothing they can do.
Yes, and you have to make sure that if your alterations tailor doesn't understand what you want, because a lot of alterations tailor, they're going through so many garments, and it doesn't mean that they are advanced in their techniques. So sometimes you have to guide the alterations tailor, and some alterations tailor won't even allow you to make those decisions because they think they know better. I have a dear friend, who's an alterations tailor, and he's been doing it for 50 years, and I have to make a lot of return visits to him because he thinks he knows what's better for my personal style and my body type. Now, Joshua and I,
Is that Sunny?
Yes. Joshua and I, really quick story. We met on the rugby pitch, so we're bigger guys.
Yeah.
And 6 feet, well, you're well over 6 feet, but we're both well over 200 pounds. So what we would wear would be different than a lot of other men would wear. So a slighter man, a thinner man, better in shape, wouldn't necessarily want wider lapels like this. I wouldn't think, but he would still want to stay away from those skinny lapels. But yeah, it's good to have it's a good proposition to have a relationship with an alterations tailor.
Yeah.
Sometimes outside of the boutique or the shop that you bought your garment from. Yeah.
That's true, yeah. Now, when you do go get your suit tailored, one of the questions you're going to be asked is how you want the pants finished.
Oh yes.
Because there's different, you can get cuffs, straight finish. There's different lengths you can get there on the trousers as well.
Exactly. And what I would recommend on this, sorry to interrupt you. If you can find trousers that are classified as high waist or mid waist trousers, that's what I would look for. And I would also look for trousers that, depending on your build, maybe a single pleat, or perhaps, because a pleat can be elegant. In the early 2000s and the 2000s, perhaps that wasn't really the fashion, but it's a more classic, elegant look, in my opinion, and with a higher waist and side adjusters instead of a belt. Now, people say, what do you mean, no belts? No belt? I don't believe you should ever wear a belt with a suit. I believe you can wear a belt with a suit if you are doing suit separates, perhaps an odd jacket, and you wanted to wear something like a beautiful Japanese selvedge denim with something like that, and I think a belt would be suitable. But for a beautiful crafted suit, high-waisted, mid-waisted trousers with side adjusters, I think are brilliant.
Yeah, I'm going to have to not necessarily contradict you, but I'm going to provide the other viewpoint because I happen to have a lot of suits that use belts, including this one that I'm wearing right now. What I do, though, is I make sure that when I am wearing a belt with my suit, the belt matches the shoes perfectly. So I have walnut colored shoes on right now, and I'm wearing a walnut colored belt. So if you are going to wear a belt with your trousers, at least make sure it matches your dress shoes in color.
Well, after hearing this story, I think I'm going to need a belt.
cuffs?
Oh, so on your trousers,
Yeah.
we have the plain turned up hemmed, or what I prefer, the turn ups. I am a fan of the turn ups, and recently, I would say probably 10 years ago, I even took back a lot of my trousers and I had them altered into or cuffs rather, and I think that can look very, very elegant. And it also has a lot to do with the cut of the trousers as well, and the trouser length. And I am a firm believer in, on your trouser length, no break. Okay. And when I say no break, maybe even maybe a partial break, depending on your body type. If you're a larger guy, maybe a partial break. But generally, I say no break. You want to make sure that they're not too skinny, not too baggy, and I like the top of the cuff to lay gingerly on the top of the shoe. Yeah,
Excellent.
It looks brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, that is some good advice. I have been getting the straight finish, the plain finish at the bottom recently, and I think I previously had cuffs, but as I gotten older, switched to the other ones. I think it's because my trousers need to be a little bit too long, and I was sometimes catching on the cuffs.
Okay.
To turn up. But
all right.
Perhaps if I had them at the proper length, I wouldn't have been catching the heel on my cuffs.
Well, I also had suspected that that the reason you were catching on that had something to do with your penchant for the Dom Perignon. That's a different story, though.
Okay, now talking about suits, though, where does one even go to buy a suit these days? Because I bought this, pre-COVID from Brooks Brothers, back when they made really high quality suits in the USA. This one's a USA made Madison suit from Brooks Brothers, but it seems like it's getting harder and harder to find high quality suits. And I feel like when I see someone wearing a very poorly made suit, even if the fit is correct, I can tell from a mile away that it's a poorly made suit, and it kind of just cheapens the look a little bit.
Knowledge can be torment on this, and the thing about it is, once you start to move up the into this sartorial realm, you start to notice things that you would have not have noticed prior, and you create this emotional hardship within yourself because do you say something? It also has a reflective way about it that makes you go and look at your own wardrobe, and you start judging everything else that you own. And next thing you know, you're gifting outfits because you've stumbled across this new knowledge. And like I said, I'm still making grave mistakes to this day.
Yeah.
But what I would say to do, I would say to go to a Nordstrom's. Go to a Nordstrom's if you have a Nordstrom's, or wherever you live, something similar.
In the Midwest, I found Dillard's has some nice outfits too. I don't know if there's none here on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Dillard's.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've never been at Dillard's.
It might depend on the location.
Okay, yeah,
But I went to one in Kansas City that had some decent brands.
All right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Find out what your size is. Oh, you can measure your size very easily, but find out what your size is. Go and try on I would say go to a Nordstrom's, try on a Canali suit, okay? The quality is good. It's Canali. It's good. Sartorially, it's Nordstrom's. So what I would do is I would say find out what your size is, try on the trousers. These suits are going to run a couple $1,000s. They really, really are. Don't buy them. Do not buy them. There are so many places online that did not exist 10 years ago where you can buy the most beautiful, beautiful suits, quality just as high as Canali, if not better. Anything from, I would say, Edward Sexton, but that's a specific sort of style. But if we're talking about the Boardroom, but Edward Sexton, Savile Row, Gives and Hawks, #1 Savile Row has a ready-to-wear section, off-the-peg section of suits, and they are brilliant. You have Richard James Savile Row, beautiful, beautiful suits. I gifted one of those, not for any specific reason. I just didn't fit it any longer. Or you can go to something like a brand I love, Pini Parma. Beautiful, beautiful brand. And their suit separates, we can call them, unbelievable. For the price, you could buy a beautiful Pini Parma suit and an odd jacket on top of that for what you would pay for a Canali suit at Nordstrom's. Yeah, unbelievably beautiful. Or the Canadian option, Spear and Mackay.
Spear and Mackay,
unbelievable. I have a couple of Spear and Mackay jackets, and I will not gift those. I will hold on to those because for the money, unbelievely beautiful. Yeah.
But you got to be careful when buying online though, because you can't see it in person. And
send it back.
So you can always send it back.
Send it back.
I recently bought a jacket.
But don't make an asshole out of yourself.
Just do a return. Yeah. I bought a jacket because it was a huge sale from Joseph A. Banks' website. It looked good in the pictures, but I got here and it was like very cheaply made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I remember years ago, Joseph A. Bank, they had some quality products made in Mexico. Some of their, and you would think, well, made in Mexico, but no, they were brilliant. But these are the early 2000s, and it had really gone downhill since then, huh?
I think so. Yeah. I feel like a lot of brands that used to be really good, even 10 years ago, have gone downhill recently, and it does make it more difficult to find a high quality outfit. Everybody's trying to. It's a race to the bottom, it seems like. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. Okay.
And you definitely don't want to be at the bottom if you're doing competitive interviewing, trying to get into the corporate boardroom. Did you know that an interviewer forms an opinion of you in the first 7 to 10 seconds based on your appearance?
Just like a woman.
I wasn't going to say that, but that's why it's important to dress. Raise your level of appearance. Dress well.
And let's point out that if you're in North America, whether you are on the East Coast or the West Coast, it would drastically be different. On the East Coast, a more formal, polished presentation of yourself would be more suitable. On the West Coast, you could go a little more casual. I would still wear a jacket, obviously. I would still wear a tie, but you wouldn't have to dress, I believe, to the same
caliber.
Caliber. Yes, I do believe so.
And a lot of companies now, they don't have a formal dress code. And maybe once you land the job, you could wear whatever makes you feel comfortable. But I have found when you're in a competitive interview room and you're competing against other people who are also very well experienced and very well educated, etc., that if you can differentiate yourself by looking the part, looking professional, you can really get that role. And I think it helps, though, even after you get the role, to continue trying to elevate your style and dressing a level up above your current role, because people are always watching and they're forming opinions of you. You never know when you're going to meet the VP or the director of your company. It could happen by happenstance someday, and you want to make sure that they remember you in a good way.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You never know what higher ups that you might end up meeting, and if you present that appearance, okay.
I had a friend. So I used to work at Microsoft, and I had a friend in the building. We were in building 34. He accidentally nearly ran into Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, in the elevator. You literally never know when you might run into almost literally ran into.
How was he dressed, the CEO of Microsoft?
I wasn't there,
Okay.
But I imagine he dresses. Actually, I don't know. How does he dress?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't run into him, but my friend did. I'll have to ask him if he recalls what he was wearing. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've talked about suit fit. We talked about what suits to get. Is there anything we're missing here? Accessories, perhaps, or is that going to be another episode?
So as far as accessories go, even in the office or the sartorial boardroom, I would say take it easy on those. I would say probably wait till you're hired before you enlist a pochette or a pocket square, before you wear your French or cocktail cuffs. I say stick with your standard button cuff shirt. Don't go crazy. Don't present yourself in a manner of a spectacle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Wait till you get hired and you can start pulling that stuff.
And once you get hired, we'll tell you what to wear and what not to wear.
Yes, what not to wear, yes.
I looked at our agenda. We have an episode planned on accessories, and it's going to be great. So make sure that you are subscribed or watching for our next video, because we have... oh, no.
Bless your heart.
Need more drink.
That's how you got into this situation.
Make sure that you watch our videos, because we'll have more more episodes coming out where we discuss all these other concerns, from accessorizing your outfit to what shoes you should wear.
Yes.
To watches, potentially. We'll go into that. Maybe.
Oh, yes, please.
We'll talk about dress shirts more, different color types. We've got a whole agenda plan, so make sure you keep watching.
Yes, please.
But on the topic of your first appearances, we want to talk a little bit about career concerns and interview preparation, because this is a show that blends style with professional career concerns. And the first thing you need to do is get that role. So you need to prepare for your interview. And I've been giving a lot of interviews recently, and I've seen a lot of mistakes and a lot of great candidates come through. And one of the big differentiators is preparation. You want to make sure that you understand the role you're applying for. If you can, talk to your recruiter, get information about who is going to be interviewing you, and do a little bit of research. See what that person is into, see what they've done professionally. I've had some people look at projects and be able to communicate about projects and show a real interest in not just the company, but what the initiative is going to be that they're interviewing for. And that can make a big difference in differentiating yourself. Another thing you want to do is make sure that you have reviewed your own resume. Yeah.
You told me about that.
Story time here. Yeah. I recently had a candidate who did very well on the interview panel, with one glaring exception. I asked him a question about a bullet point on his resume where he had mentioned increasing efficiencies by I forget what percentage. And I asked him if he could tell me how he did that. And his response was, I don't remember what that's about. So if you put something on your resume, make sure you know what it is that you put on there, and be prepared to answer questions about it. Because the worst thing you can do is be asked a question about a bullet point on your resume, and then he asked me, are you sure you have my resume? And I'm like, is this your name? He's like, oh yeah, that's my name. Like, I have your resume.
Wonder where he sent his resume off to get doctored.
That's true, yeah. There's a lot of resume services out there, and I can't say that it's a bad idea to have people review your resume. It's actually a good idea. And
just review it back.
Review it back, exactly. AI is another great tool now that's around. It can give you pointers, but don't let it completely rewrite your resume. Or if you do, make sure you read it, so that way you can answer questions about it. Another thing you want to do when you're preparing for your interview and for your first introduction is to craft a 30 to 60 second introduction about yourself, where you can really sell your experience and sell your capabilities. You want to make sure this is practiced and prepared, so that way you can say it without stuttering, without making any pauses or having to think. You should be able to go through and describe why you are the ideal candidate for this role. And this especially applies in more competitive roles where there's a lot of people applying, because the stakes are higher and the quality of the candidates is typically higher whenever the salary goes up. So you want to make sure that you have prepared this introduction that starts yourself off on a right track. You usually start off with introductions in these interviews. Other things that you really want to make sure that you do is smile genuinely. Not any fake smiles, but you want to appear warm, cordial, and friendly.
I wouldn't even get a second interview.
You wouldn't get a second interview?
I wouldn't get a second
Look at this
interview.
smile. How could you not love it?
Yeah, it's fake.
Another thing you want to do is focus on your value. Avoid oversharing. You don't want to share too many personal details. And you also don't want to speak negatively. You will get asked questions that are designed to make you talk about uncomfortable past experiences. Whatever you do, no matter how difficult the question may be, something like, tell me about a time you had a conflict with another employee or with a manager or something like that. Whatever you do, don't start talking negatively. You can frame the situation accurately without putting people in a negative light. Even if you dislike that person wholeheartedly, you should never speak badly about someone in an interview because it makes you look like a negative person. Try to focus on how you changed course and positively affected situations without casting an overly dark shadow on anyone or
And you don't want them to think that your prospective employer to think that you would
speak badly.
Well, yeah, and you're the one who has these issues, and you bring this into every workplace that you
That's true.
encounter. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, something that we're still working on here as we're filming this video, avoid too many ums, likes, us. It's better to have silence while you're thinking than to have too many filler words. The too many filler words can start to degrade your, I almost said one right there, it can start to degrade your credibility. And I think that's about it I have for interviews. We'll have more career concerns in the future episodes, things about communication, and also, here I am, now I'm saying the filler words, communication and performance reviews, a whole bunch of other topics we have planned, so make sure you stay watching.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. So, should we talk about what we're wearing today?
What we're wearing today.
Yeah.
All right. Joshua.
Yes.
What are you wearing today?
All right, what am I wearing today? I'll go first. This is, I think I mentioned earlier, a Brooks Brothers suit before they got bought by the recent company. It's a well-made suit. I really love the way it fits and feels. The wool feels really nice. And I don't know if they make these suits anymore. I hope that they will someday again, but these are great suits if they ever make them. This was made in the USA. I have a J-Press shirt, which has kind of been my go-to ever since Brooks Brothers had the change of ownership. This is made on the East Coast. They made to order, I think. I love the style. I selected the color and everything. And then the tie. We talked earlier about Joseph A. Bank. This is actually one of their nicer pieces. This is their signature gold tie, also made in the USA. And I'm wearing, you can't see, Alan Edmonds shoes. My whole outfit actually is made in the USA today.
Look at that.
Look at that, yeah.
It's a Patriot.
That's right. With the exception of the watch, this watch is a Seiko JDM, Seiko Presage. So the JDM is Japan domestic market. You can only buy these in Japan. I bought this at my last trip to Tokyo.
Beautiful.
I love the way it looks. It's got a nice gold pattern dial, open heart, and it's simple but elegant. And I love the way it works, or the way it looks. Yeah.
Really is.
Oh, I almost forgot.
Oh, your pochette.
Should I take it out or just?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it out. Yeah. Okay. So this was a gift here from my dear friend, and I have the. I keep forgetting the title of this piece. This is Taira no Kiyomori's Spectral Vision by Utagawa Hiroshige.
Hi.
Hi. Yes. Kirei ne. So this is a beautiful piece. On this pocket square by my dear friend.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And how about you? What are you
So
wearing today?
my suit today is Edward Sexton, double-breasted. It's a you probably can't tell, but it's actually a dark green check.
Oh,
Yeah, probably a little heavy for the summer month when we're recording this video, but I love it. Shirt today is my ums.
I brought it to light now. I was thinking about it.
Exactly. Is Anthony Sinclair, Mayfair. If you know Anthony Sinclair, and Anthony Sinclair was the tailor to Sean Connery, Roger Moore. I'm not sure through all the Roger Moore movies, and he might even did George Lazenby. recreated by Mason and Sons in Mayfair. Brilliant. I love this shirt. Shoes today are Corte. I'm wearing a pair of Corte Arcas. You cannot see them. I'll put them up on the screen in an ox blood. And my pochette, my bucket square is Rampley and Company, as well as Joshua's Rampley and Company.
Rampley and Company.
And this is a representation of the Policia Verso in Rome, the Colosseum. And now it is said that the Policia Verso, this representation, this painting, the Jerome painting, inspired Ridley Scott to a degree in the 2000 Gladiator movie. And obviously, the painting wasn't the only thing that inspired him.
Yeah.
But boy, that second Gladiator movie was a turd.
Yeah,
But first
there
Gladiator
is no Gladiator 2.
there is no Gladiator.
There was Gladiator, and then some Abomination.
Exactly. Yeah, that did not work for me. Timepiece today, I am wearing my Breguet Heritage Rose Gold. Love this piece. And I wear this on when I'm wearing a more formal attire. And yeah. That's
Excellent.
it. Yeah, perfect. Oh, and then I have my lapel pin, and which, if we are familiar with the Saint, this lapel, if you know, you know. What can I say? But yeah, perfect.
Excellent.
All right, good. Yeah.
So key takeaways for this episode. Remember, first impressions are about authenticity and looking the part. I don't know if I have time for a quick story before we go.
Of course you do. We have all the time in the world.
We have all the time in the world. Okay. My first job that required wearing a jacket and a dress shirt was Brooks Brothers. I was 17 at the time. I had no experience in the sartorial world. I had no experience in dress clothing at all. I had very little experience at all. I was a young teenage person. And I actually got the part by taking all the money I could muster, buying a suit jacket that was on sale because I was so scrawny at the time that it was an unpopular size and it was like a huge discount. And I wore that suit jacket and I wore it confidently. But just by wearing that outfit to my first interview at Brooks Brothers, and of course, having a genuine smile, I got the role. And the interviewer told me that we typically never consider anyone under the age of 18 for a salesperson at Brooks Brothers. But they say that I got the role because I was dressed smartly and I carried myself well, confidently. So be confident.
Inspirational story, that.
Yeah. What I do want you all to do, though, in the comments, please share any interview horror stories, especially if it's related to style or not preparing for the interview. Go out there, make an impact. You've got this.
Yeah, there you go. Make an impact. You've got this. Indeed. My personal physician told me that I need to lay off the...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. My doctor is a dear personal friend of mine. I've known the man for years. He has been practicing medicine for over 30 years. Graduated from one of the best medical schools in the country. Brilliant man. Unbelievably brilliant. Told me to stop drinking so much.
Is it bad to drink?
What does he know?
What does he know? Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.